So I've just released a video debunking National Socialism's ideology, and the response has been largely positive. There was some criticism, but I wanted to draw your attention today to one particular response I got on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, I'd encourage you to do so, but this person, a Hyperborean Aryan, responded to my video in a very revealing way. He said, "In the video you made a point that the National Socialists contradict themselves by rejecting materialism, and therefore rejecting race, as race is biological. This is where you are wrong. Any devout National Socialist knows race is spiritual and that it exists outside of the material realm." I responded, and this is where you're wrong, because if you keep watching, you'll see that I actually make that exact point. And just like many others, this critic was emotionally charged and quick to react without having listened to the full video. So I cannot emphasize this enough. Please listen to a video in full before attempting to critique, otherwise you'll end up doing what this guy does, falsely jumping the gun. But to this, he responded with a highly revealing post, which is the reason why I'm making this video, for those saying that National Socialism is not religious. Apparently I'm wrong on this, and yet the evidence is mounting. I'm going to read this in full, but note both the language and also the capital letters. The capital letters indicate that there is more to the meaning of some of the words that he's using. He said, "Having watched, you say this axiom is nonsense, not based in science. It's been proven that we carry ancestral memories in the blood, which are passed down to us through our genetic code. Meaning that if the genetic code is altered by race mixing, then the blood memory held within will be altered, leading to a loss of the memory and connection to the ancestral spirit. As you are well aware, the NSDAP was founded and ran by initiates of the esoteric mystery schools where deep metaphysical knowledge is held and taught. You tried arguing that for this to be true, it would mean that we don't have free will if our race and racial spirit are predetermined by God. You are partly correct. Everything in our lives is predetermined by God, which can be seen through mystical analysis such as numerology, Kabbalah, and Vedic astrology. With these arts, you can see how an individual's life will likely play out based on their God-given characteristics, if they remain spiritually dormant. However, when one awakens, they can use the free will God gave them to change their path and timeline, yet they will still have to adhere to the positive and negative aspects of their astrological characteristics. One may be born with the Aryan spirit, but they can lose it if it's not cultivated and maintained accordingly. Julius Evola speaks on this. Race exists outside of the material, but it manifests into the material through human vessels, and each vessel is unique to the racial spirit. Understand that Aryans are incarnated directly from the spiritual realm, unlike the beast races. We are quite literally a race of angels, God's chosen people. Understanding this can be hard if you have not been initiated. I recommend reading Miguel Sereno's work for deeper understanding of the true National Socialist perspective. I will read Miguel Sereno's work. Thanks for letting me know about him. I've also read Goodrick Clark and I've done videos on this stuff before, so I actually partially get what he's talking about here. However, this is clearly not someone basing his ideas on rational thinking. The bit where he says, "The ancestral memories in the blood are passed down to us through our genetic code," is a fantastic sentence which exposes just how pseudo-scientific National Socialism is. Our blood carries memories, apparently, and these are passed down via our genetic code. Like, really? I'm sure you've got ample proof of this. I mean, obvious sarcasm is obvious, he hasn't. And it should be clear that he's not talking about blood in the sense of the red stuff that flows out of you when you get cut, but rather a spiritual blood, as I have explained previously. He even confirms this, saying that we have a racial spirit. We are human vessels for the soul, and we must awaken just like a Buddhist or a Gnostic. We are quite literally a race of angels, God's chosen people. We must be initiated into the cult in order to understand this. I mean, it's all there. It's all there. So I shared this and the jokes came in. Literal cult, LMFAO, OK Blavatsky, and I would also add Hegel into that too. Take your medication, bro. How does it feel to say something so profoundly censored word in the United Kingdom? Take your time. There is no difference from the dialectical materialism or actual idealism, not in so much that they believe the same, but that it is completely based in subjectivism. All collectivism seems to target a kind of subjective experience upon which they gather followers, then impose. I responded, yes, they're not exactly the same, but there are clear similarities. They're rejecting reality in favour of a spiritual mind over matter mentality. And there are more responses beside this, but I do want to point out that while there are National Socialists and third positionists who share the same views as this Hyperborean Aryan, there are of course those who don't. Some only have this in minor ways or haven't fully realised just how irrational the foundation of National Socialism is. Again, I'm going to encourage you all to read Leonard Peikoff's book, The Cause of Hitler's Germany, as it's hopefully a good way of getting people to recognise the war we're actually fighting here. This is a war for the survival of the human mind. These people want to destroy our minds and drag us back down to the level of animals, where we will wallow in filth and mud. And whether you are a third positionist or not, you need to be aware of what's actually happening. Thanks for watching, bye for now.